Hey guys, what is up? It is the Fast Break Report here, bringing you guys another vlog. So it finally happened. A team made a trade, and sure enough, it was the Los Angeles Lakers. They traded Kendrick Nunn and 3 second-round picks to the Washington Wizards for Rui Hachimura. And it's a very interesting trade, actually, if you ask me, for the Lakers. And this also says a lot about the Washington Wizards, but we'll get to that. So, I want to say this. This was the first trade of the deadline. The Lakers officially broke the seal on it, so we'll see what happens. But Rui Hachimura is a very interesting player, mostly because he's really not had a lot of time to really become the player that we expected him to be. He was picked 9th in the 2019 NBA draft, and what's crazy about him is in the draft he was drawing comparisons to Carmelo Anthony. There were people out there saying hey, he's a scorer. You know what I'm saying? He gets buckets, and people were comparing him to Carmelo. And he definitely is one of those players where he does most of his damage around the basket and inside the three-point line. Guy is shooting 49% from the field this year, so if it's inside the arc, it's pretty much automatic. But the three-point shot is really what worries me the most. I mean, he's shooting 33% from three this year. Last year, he finished the season shooting 44% from three, so it's if he can just increase his three-point shot and continue to shoot it consistently, it would do wonders for his game, to be honest with you. But it's just the idea. He really needs to improve as a defender. Also, he's a very average defender at best. And on top of it, he's just one of those guys that he doesn't do a whole lot that you're he gets points in a variety of different ways, but most of it comes from the mid-range and around the basket. So the Lakers really acquired him hoping he could be another Kyle Kuzma or something like that, a guy they just take a flyer on and hope that he can be some type of scoring to them either off the bench or in the starting lineup. I don't necessarily enjoy giving away, 3 second-round picks and Kendrick Nunn for him, but the Wizards are pretty obviously at this point mailing it in on this season. Rui Hachimura is just one of those guys that I'd like to see him maybe play for the Lakers, only because, and the reason I say that is because he's been injured a whole fucking lot since entering the NBA. Last season, he played for an unspecified reason, and still to this day, nobody fucking knows why. So, it's just, I don't know if it was because of the vaccine thing or whatever, but he sat out almost indefinitely last year, and nobody had any idea why. So hopefully Rui Hachimura becomes a decent player. He's young, he's 24 years old, playing with the Lakers, playing with a guy like LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and stuff like that is definitely going to be beneficial to him. It'll be the first time he's playing with somebody of LeBron James and Anthony Davis stature. Bradley Beal's very good, but he doesn't have the same experiences that guys like LeBron and Anthony Davis have. So I have to say that that's a positive that he gets to play with LeBron James. But yeah, it seems like the Lakers are taking a flyer on him because his past 5 or 10 games have been fucking ridiculous. I mean, the past 2 or 3 weeks, dude's been balling. So I understand now why the Wizards got rid of him and why the Lakers acquired him, because the Wizards are hey, his value's at an all-time high. We're not going to re-sign him, take him off our hands, but we want 3 second-round picks. So that's what they did. They were you know what? They did this trade, and hopefully Rui Hachimura continues to improve, because honestly, in the past couple games, past 5-10 games, he's looked almost like an all-star level scorer. So if he can continue that and just improve on defense and stuff like that, maybe become more of a polished player, I like him. He's a great pickup for the Lakers. So that's the Lakers side of things. The Wizards side of things is a little more bleak. Bradley Beal is injured, as per fucking usual, it feels. And so is Kristaps Porzingis, once again, as per fucking usual. And the Wizards are looking to trade Denny Avdija teams. It looks like they're trying to trade Kyle Kuzma, but now that they traded Rui Hachimura, I don't know if they're actually just dumping Rui Hachimura so they can re-sign Kyle Kuzma. But it seems also like Porzingis is going to get traded. I really wouldn't be surprised if Bradley Beal is fielding phone calls as well. I'm sure he always is. But the Wizards really kind of screwed themselves in the sense that they gave Bradley Beal probably one of the worst contracts in NBA history because he's a guy that is not, Steph Curry, LeBron, or Kevin Durant level, or even Jason Tatum level, and they paid him like a guy who is on that level. So it's just they're kind of stuck with Bradley Beal unless a team really wants him. But you'd be paying like max superstar level money for a guy who's like a 1B and not a 1A. You know what I'm saying? So it sucks also because it's like, he's kind of stuck there, and now it's kind of like the Wizards are putting shit together hoping they can, put a decent roster around him. But the Wizards are just that team, man, that I don't think that's going to happen. And they're clearly mailing it in on this season. We're going to see a whole lot of load management from Kristaps Porzingis and Bradley Beal, and they're going to try to put themselves in the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes, which makes a lot of sense. So I don't know, man. The Wizards are clearly blowing it up on this season. They're like, hey, you know what? It's going to be what it's going to be. Let's run it back with something different. That's understandable. The Lakers, on the other hand, also, like, they don't have a lot of $10, $11, $12 million contracts to go out and trade for a guy like a star player like a DeMar DeRozan or a Bradley Beal or a Zach LaVine or a D'Angelo Russell or somebody like that, or a Fred VanVleet. Like, they just don't have contracts to make that happen. The only way that this team gets the ability to do that is getting off of Russell Westbrook. And I see a lot of people who are like, oh, Russ is playing really good for the Lakers. He's averaging like 22 a game over the past 10 games. Okay, that's fine, but he's still not worth $47 million fucking dollars. I don't care. It's just the idea, like, you can get rid of Russell Westbrook and get something else for him, add more depth to your team, and have a better chance without him than you do with him. Like, Russell Westbrook's one of those guys that I simply don't think, really makes a huge difference on the Lakers whether he's there or not. He still averages 3.5 turnovers a game. He's still shooting, 44% from the field. He's shooting 29% from three, 66% from the free throw line. Like, I'm sorry, but 10 games does not make up for an entire season's worth of horrific statistical shooting. It just doesn't. And his defense is non-existent. So I don't know, man. You know what? Good for the Lakers. They're making moves. Hopefully this is the start of something. But I like the trade for both teams. I do think the Lakers gave up a couple more second-round picks than they maybe should have. Like, maybe one more than they should have. But still, you know what? Taking a flyer on Rui Hachimura is not the worst thing in the world. Especially when you're getting rid of Kendrick Nunn, who didn't even play for you last year. So, he's a guard. You know what I'm saying? You got guards. You don't need a whole you really don't need them. You turned a guard into a guy for a position you could probably use. So, I like it. Rui Hachimura's value, though, I think will really be determined on whether or not he can become a floor spacer for the Lakers, because he's not the greatest three-point shooter in the world. I mean, last year, yeah, he finished the season shooting 44% from three, but as we saw again this year, he's back down to 33%. So if he can just become a consistent shooter from the three-point line, like, he could be a really, really nice future asset for the Lakers. So, I don't know, man. We'll have to wait and see. But tell me what you guys think about this down below in the comment section below. Like, helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more on the Fast Break Report. And out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.